Most people buying a camper van in 2026 will lose between $10,000 and $25,000 within 18 months, not because van life failed them, not because the market shifted, because they bought the wrong vehicle and nobody told them the truth before they signed. I've seen buyers spend $90,000 on a Sprinter build, excited, confident, ready, and sell it 2 years later at a $25,000 loss, not because the van was bad, because it didn't match how they actually traveled. That loss didn't show up on day one, it showed up in year 2 when the reality of ownership hit the fantasy of the purchase. Nobody regrets the van immediately, the regret shows up later. Today, that changes. I'm going to tell you exactly which camper vans are genuinely worth your money in 2026, which ones will quietly drain your savings, and the one van almost nobody is talking about that might be the smartest financial decision in this entire category right now. And here's something I'll say up front that's going to make some people uncomfortable. The van you see all over YouTube, for most buyers, it's the most expensive mistake on this list. We'll get there. Stay with me. Before the list, how worth every penny actually gets defined. Here's where people get this completely wrong. They evaluate a camper van on sticker price and YouTube tour quality. That's amateur thinking, and it costs them. Worth every penny means something specific. What does this vehicle cost you over 5 years of real ownership? Depreciation curve, repair frequency, parts pricing, service network access, resale market depth, livability per dollar spent. A van that costs $55,000 up front with $2,000 a year in maintenance and strong resale can be dramatically cheaper than a $42,000 van that costs $6,000 a year to maintain and sells for almost nothing when you're done. That gap right there is where your $15,000 disappears, not in the purchase, in the ownership, and most buyers never see it coming. This is the calculation most buyers never do. They feel the sticker price and stop thinking. Here's the part nobody tells you. Van buying isn't a vehicle decision. It's a financial decision with wheels on it. The moment you treat it like one, everything changes. I'm evaluating every van today across 3 buyer types because what's worth it completely depends on who's buying. Retirees doing seasonal, slow travel need reliability, comfort, and clean resale. Full-time van lifers need durability, low cost per mile, and systems that survive real-world abuse. Families doing annual road trips need livability, safety, and a budget that doesn't collapse in year 2. Every van gets evaluated through all 3 lenses, no exceptions. Let's go. Van number 1, the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, the van everyone buys for the wrong reasons. Here's the uncomfortable truth about the Sprinter, and this is where it gets expensive for buyers who haven't thought it through. The Sprinter is the name everyone says first, and the reputation is deserved. But here's where people get this completely wrong. They buy it for the badge, the aesthetics, the YouTube presence. That's the wrong reason entirely, and buying a $60,000 vehicle for the wrong reason is exactly how the $25,000 loss happens. The Sprinter earns its place because of platform maturity, 25+ years of refinement, one of the deepest parts and service networks of any commercial van globally, a depreciation curve that punishes you far less than most alternatives at resale. Those are the real arguments, not the logo. On the 2025-2026 Sprinter 2500 144-inch high-roof diesel, you're looking at 18 to 22 miles per gallon depending on load. Run that math seriously. Over 5 years at 25,000 miles per year against the less efficient gasoline competitor, that fuel efficiency gap is worth $6,000 to $10,000. That's a solar system. That's a year of campsite fees. That's real money hiding inside a spec sheet most buyers skim past. And here's the part that costs people the most money in this category, and this is the decision you don't feel on day 1, you feel in year 2. The 4x4 Sprinter. You're paying $10,000 to $15,000 more for capability you will use realistically maybe twice a year. That premium sounds essential when you're watching off-road van life content at midnight. In daylight, running actual trip logs, 90% of buyers who purchase 4x4 Sprinters spend 95% of their miles on pavement and improved gravel. You're not paying for capability, you're paying for the feeling of capability. There's a $12,000 difference between those two things, and it's one of the most common expensive mistakes in this entire buying category. Here's the part nobody tells you about Sprinter ownership. When something goes wrong, and eventually something will, you're operating inside the Mercedes-Benz parts and labor ecosystem. A quality extended warranty on a Sprinter isn't optional, it's financial planning. Budget for it from day one, or this van will surprise you in year 3 in a way that isn't pleasant. Retirees, strong match for extended travel, especially diesel over long distances. Buy used in the 3 to 5 year window. Let someone else absorb the sharpest appreciation. Full-timers, strong platform for North American routes where Ford service access is a daily operational reality, not a gamble. Families, often overspecified for lower annual mileage family trip patterns, the premium rarely pays back. Van number 2, the Ford Transit, the answer smart buyers keep landing on. Here's where it gets interesting, and here's where the Sprinter loyalists usually go quiet. The Ford Transit 2025-2026 148-inch extended high roof competes directly with the Sprinter in interior dimensions while coming in $8,000 to $12,000 lower at base price before conversion costs. Parts are cheaper, Ford dealer density across North America is dramatically higher. The EcoBoost V6 has a long commercial track record that holds up under real scrutiny. Here's the part nobody tells you. This is where your budget quietly disappears if you skip this comparison. You assume the Transit is the budget choice, the compromise, the second option. You don't run the actual numbers. Then you spend $10,000 more on a Sprinter, absorb $4,000 more in maintenance over 5 years, add $2,000 in service inconvenience costs when you're 3 hours from the nearest Mercedes specialist, and you've paid significantly more for a van that served you the same. That's not a Sprinter failure, that's a buyer math failure. The EcoBoost gets criticized unfairly in van life circles. Yes, it's not a diesel, but in rural America, where real van life happens, finding a Ford service center takes minutes, finding a Mercedes specialist sometimes takes hours in towing fees. That operational reality has a dollar value most buyers never calculate until they're sitting on the side of a highway. And here's the advantage most people overlook entirely. The conversion ecosystem around the Transit is enormous. Transit-specific panels, components, professional build infrastructure. The platform volume means your conversion costs on a Transit will often come in $2,000 to $5,000 lower than a comparable Sprinter build. The savings compound before you even start driving. For European buyers, weight this differently. Sprinter diesel efficiency matters more at European fuel prices, and Mercedes network density in Western Europe is genuinely strong. The Transit's North American advantages shrink in that market. Retirees, excellent choice used. Lower carrying costs mean more budget for actual travel. Full-timers, strong platform for North American routes where Ford service access is a daily operational reality, not a gamble. Families, the value champion for this buyer type. Full stop. Van number 3, the Volkswagen California, a premium that's justified, but only for one specific buyer. Here's where I'll make the California owners either nod or get angry. The California Ocean in 2026 is landing at $65,000 to $75,000, depending on spec. That number makes people flinch and then justify. Don't justify, evaluate. What you're actually buying is a van engineered from the ground up as a living vehicle, not a cargo van with furniture bolted in afterward. The pop top, the integrated kitchen, the layout, this is decades of iteration by engineers whose only job was optimizing mobile living. The build quality gap between a California and a conversion van is not subtle when you're inside both of them. The financial argument that makes it legitimate for the right buyer is in Germany, Netherlands, and Scandinavia. Good condition Californias retain 65 to 70% of their value at 3 years. For a European buyer doing seasonal touring who plans to sell in that window, the actual cost of ownership after resale can be far lower than the sticker suggests. Someone else absorbs the depreciation. You use the asset. But here's the mistake that costs the most money in this category, and this is the decision you don't feel on day 1, you feel in year 2. Buying a California for full-time North American van life.
It's too small, storage is insufficient for permanent living, and at that price point, you could acquire a quality used Transit or Sprinter with budget remaining for a professional custom conversion that gives you more of everything. This is a precision instrument for a specific use case. Used outside that use case, it's an expensive disappointment. Retirees in Europe, this is your van. Smaller footprint, exceptional quality, strong resale, perfect for European camping infrastructure. Full-timers in North America, walk away. The money and the size both work against you. Families, seasonal touring, potentially yes. Full-time family travel, absolutely not.
Van number 4, the Ram ProMaster, the one nobody's talking about, and that's exactly why it's worth your attention. Here's the part nobody tells you, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The ProMaster doesn't have a cult following. The conversion community underserves it. Dealers don't push it with Sprinter enthusiasm. And that market reality shows up directly at the point of sale. The ProMaster consistently comes in $5,000 to $10,000 below Sprinter pricing, with accessible Stellantis dealer networks and competitive parts costs. Now here's where people get this completely wrong. They hear front-wheel drive and they stop listening. Don't stop listening. Front-wheel drive eliminates the rear differential housing. That means a completely flat load floor, no wheel well intrusions, no awkward geometry to design around. The ProMaster's real usable interior width, accounting for actual living and storage space rather than nominal measurements, exceeds what you get in comparable Transit and Sprinter configurations. For a buyer building a custom conversion, this floor geometry is worth real money in livable square footage. And here's the mistake that costs budget-conscious buyers the most: spending $8,000 to $12,000 more on a platform chosen for brand perception rather than actual needs. The ProMaster doesn't care about brand perception. It just gives you a flat floor and a lower invoice. The 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 has strong commercial reliability history. The platform is understated, unfashionable, and priced accordingly. The weaknesses are real, and I'll name them directly. Fuel economy trails both the Sprinter diesel and the Transit. Long-term resale value doesn't compete. Off-road capability is simply not part of this van's profile. But for the right buyer, budget-conscious, pavement primary, custom building, this is the most underpriced value in the 2026 market. Retirees, solid option for pavement primary travel if budget is a genuine constraint. Full-timers on paved routes, underrated platform. The flat floor advantage in a custom build is real and livable. Off-road buyers, wrong van entirely. This isn't a compromise, it's just a different tool. The section that will save you more money than anything else on this list. Here's the part nobody tells you, and this is where buyers quietly lose $5,000 to $15,000 in year 2 without ever understanding why. Any camper van built by a small conversion operation without a documented service network is a financial risk that most buyers dramatically underestimate. The van platform can be excellent, the conversion can be beautiful, but when the custom electrical system needs diagnosis, the proprietary cabinetry needs repair, or the plumbing integration fails, and statistically something will, you're now solving a problem that only one company knows how to solve, and that company may no longer exist. This is not theoretical. This is a pattern that repeats constantly in this market, in year 2 and year 3, in ways that never appeared in any pre-purchase research. Investigate the service infrastructure around a conversion before you investigate the conversion itself. Most buyers do it backwards. Most buyers feel it later. The 2026 market window. You're in a better position than you realize. Here's what most buyers don't realize until it's too late to act on it. The post-pandemic inventory premiums are gone. The panic buying markups of 2021 and 2022, $10,000 to $20,000 over reasonable market value just to secure inventory, those have normalized. Dealers who were effortlessly moving inventory 2 years ago are motivated sellers today. This is one of the better buying windows for quality used van platforms in recent memory. Buyers who know their numbers are extracting deals right now that simply weren't available 18 months ago. Know your out-the-door number before you walk in. Know what comparable vehicles are selling for in your region, and be genuinely prepared to walk away, not as a tactic, as a posture. That posture alone separates buyers who pay market rate from buyers who pay above it every single time. Final verdict: no neutrality, no hedging. For most North American buyers, the Ford Transit is the 2026 value champion. Lower entry cost, accessible service, proven reliability, and a conversion ecosystem that makes the build cheaper and better. For European buyers doing seasonal touring, the VW California, purchased used in the 2 to 3 year window, earns its premium. Let someone else absorb the new vehicle depreciation, then benefit from the quality. The Sprinter is right for serious full-timers with high annual mileage who will hold long enough to amortize the premium. It's not overrated, it's chronically bought by the wrong buyer. The ProMaster deserves a serious look that most buyers never give it, specifically for budget-conscious custom builders doing pavement primary travel who want maximum usable interior per dollar. Here's the opinion I'll leave you with. The difference between a smart buyer and an average buyer in this market isn't budget, it's decision-making. Most people walk into this purchase emotionally. They've watched 100 van tours, fallen in love with a lifestyle, and they're reverse engineering a justification for the van they already want. Smart buyers go the other way. Use case first, budget second, service reality third. Those three constraints identify the right vehicle. The van they end up with might not be the most cinematic, it might not get the most comments at the campsite, but it won't cost them $20,000 they didn't need to spend. Nobody thinks they're making a bad decision when they buy a van. The problem is, you don't find out until it's too late to fix it. You just found out early. So, here's what I want to know. What are you looking at right now? And what's the one thing that doesn't feel right about it? Drop it in the comments. I read every one, and your question might be the next video.